Everyone believes that multifamily is very, very expensive, and how do we scale? So the only way in multifamily you can get compounding, or you can achieve compounding effect, is reinvesting or repurposing your cash flow by reinvesting it into a deal. Guys, sometimes baby can be clumsy. I was so tired I was just sitting and looking at the time going by, and when it was few minutes to the time, I said, oh yes, I have a meeting, and here we are. Pardon me. So what I'm trying to, because I need to show you guys some graph, and while that is trying to load, I am going to continue talking. Thank you all for being here, and I'm happy that majority of people I'm seeing here are ladies, but the men, you guys are welcome. I don't think we have anyone on the call. I think it's just one. Okay, so one of the reasons why this is very important is because of scaling. Some people wonder how they can keep scaling, because everyone believes that multifamily is very, very expensive, and how do we scale? So I'm going to use my own personal experience and how we've been able to scale. I always say this is the first move that is the biggest move that you can make, as long as you are convinced and interested in investing in multifamily. And let me explain what that means. For us to have built our portfolio to where we are right now, it started from literally the first set of properties that we bought, regardless whether it was single family and all that. We started with single family, for those of you that are aware, and we also did fix and flip. So it was part of the fix and flip money we used. In short, our first multi-family was from our fix and flip deal. So for those of you that believe that there is nothing in your hands, you don't have what it takes to start up your multi-family deal, then you need to rethink again. So let me explain again how this is done. It's easier for you to build your portfolio with a multifamily than a single family. From a fix and flip, when we did a fix and flip, we had a profit plus our down payment. Everything ended to about 300 or 300 and something thousand, and we used that money to purchase two multifamilies of about 35 units. That's what we used to buy our first multifamily. And some of you will be wondering, how can that be done? I only have one single family property that I rent out. I'm trying to scale to multifamily. How do I do it? I can tell you for a fact that we don't have a W2, but we always invest in deals that we bring on the table, and we don't put in small money. And guess how we do those investments? It's from equity. So we know that when we are trying to buy or go under contract, we're looking for one of our properties that we've been able to improve on the assets, and we'll pull out equity from it and divert it into another one. And that has been our model for a while now. That's how we've been able to acquire or build our portfolio. So now the question is, some of you believe that I really don't have that money to start up. I don't know how to even start up at all. The thing is, you literally have something to start, especially if you have a house. The equity in the house can help you start up if you don't know. And from there, you can build your portfolio. I'm starting with this so that we understand the basics. How do we start up? Because some of the calls I receive personally from people is, how do I start up? How do I start? And literally, that is the way we normally start up, either from equity from one place, either from a single family or from one of our renter smaller units, and that we have somewhere else. We pull out the equity and we start up. Let's assume you only have one renter unit, only one, or just one single family that you have, and the equity on that single family is, let's say, 100,000. That means over time the property has built up an equity of 100,000. How do you now multiply that 100,000 over some time for you to start building your portfolio? That is where we are going to. And I also want to emphasize or mention that continuously using your money to invest in multifamily, if you are not the high earners or those people that are doctors, lawyers, whatever, those people that earn six figures and upwards, or those high figures in a year, it might be difficult for you to consistently invest. And these are things we hear and see from people. Oh, I'm tapped out. I just invested in one deal and I can't continue. Now, and who says that you cannot literally build your portfolio from just one deal at a time? There is a saying, there's something about multifamily. Multifamily is built on time. The moment you have that mindset that this is all about time, then you now understand how to play the time game. Time value of money, as in that is what it is, as in time. How long are you willing to wait for that investment to start yielding? Multifamily, like we always say, is not a rich get quick scheme. It's not that. It's a time game. Regardless of what the political atmosphere is or what the economy says, The moment you understand that it's a time game, that is when everything changes. Let's say you were able to pull out $1,000 from your single family home and you are saying, okay, I want to start up my multifamily investment, but this is all I can afford for now, and maybe I'll just do one deal and that is it. I'm going to give us an idea of how we can go about it. So with $100,000, let's say you have a $100,000 amount and you're investing it in a deal, and the deal will give you, let's say they told you at the webinar that the deal is going to give you 8% return annually, and let's say they say that every year the deal is expected to appreciate by 5%. That is, the growth of that deal is about 5%, and that is what it will give you. So for one single deal, this is a snowball effect chart that you can get from just your 100,000, and I'm going to explain it shortly, but I just want you to see the graph, the movement. The zero here at this point is your starting point. You invested 100,000, and look at where you are from your zero. You're already at 10 within 10 years, the day you decided to invest, and over 10 years. Like I said, multifamily is a long-term game. The idea is, how do we compound it to build more wealth and all that? So that is where we are. So I'm going to go with the 100,000 example that I just spoke about. Imagine you pulled out 100,000 from your house as a equity line of credit, and you're investing 100,000 on a deal. Let's say a deal that either me or Ify introduced to you. You decided to put in 100,000. They also told you that from your 100,000 you'll be getting 8,000 annually. That is 8% cash on cash on your investment. Assuming that's what you were told, you're going to be making 8% annual returns. The idea is that if you're able to reinvest it, I know some of us, we want cash flow, we want to use it to pay other forms of liability. But let's say because this 100K, you need it to produce the fruit that you want it to do. Let's say we issue you the 8,000 for year one. The idea is that you roll it over into the deal, reinvest it back into the deal, and that is one. That's one strategy. The next thing is, assuming we also told you that this deal will be refinancing in 5 years, and within that 5 years is going to build some equity. Definitely, we always tell you that there are tax benefits. And what does the tax benefit help you achieve? It will help you take home more money, because we're able to write off some tax liability. That is, the money we're supposed to pay the IRS. Let's say we're supposed to pay them 1 million, because we're able to do the cost segregation, and based on that, we're able to write off a lot of our taxes. That is, maybe from the cost segregation, we're able to write off 800,000. It means that if we're able to write off 800,000 from just doing the cost segregation, the bonus depreciation strategy, that means instead of us giving 800,000 to the IRS, we are giving it back to you as an investor. That is, you as an investor, you're going to have that money that was intended to have been given to the IRS. So what that means is that you are going to take home back more money. That means we issue more percentage interest to you at that time than giving it to the IRS, because you've been able to save on taxes. So in order for you to compound interest in a multifamily, you can use these 3 strategies and be able to build compounding interest. One of them is through your cash flow. So whatever cash flow that has been given to you, you can decide to reinvest it into the same deal. And the next thing is, when they refinance, normally during refinancing time, for those of you that have not seen my video about what to expect when you are refinancing, sometimes you can expect between 30 to 100% of your initial investment. That is, if you invested 100,000 at refinancing time, it's possible that we're able to pull out some equity and we're able to give you back some or all. Let's say, for example, we only gave you back 60% of what you invested. That is 60,000 from the 100,000. It means that on this deal, you can have 60,000 reinvested back, and you can also have your 8,000 reinvested back. And from the tax advantage standpoint, we can issue you, because aside from cash on cash, there's something we call the GP split and the LP split. That means we can issue back some more interest, or some more, should I call it, returns to you, and you can put all those things back. So let's go to a practical example. I'm using 100,000 over the span of 10 years. Your starting point is you invested 100,000, and whoever the sponsor is told you you're going to get 8,000 every year, and the property is going to appreciate 5% every year, and you can reinvest all cash plus refinance in year 5. So the only thing you can get between now and year 4 is really the cash flow. You can only get the one for refinancing at the point of refinancing, as in when they refinance it. So let's say your refinancing time is 5 years time. It means that you should have been able to build 8,000 times 5 years. That is about 40,000. So that means already on your investment, you already have 100,000 in it, and you've been able to accumulate another 40,000 in it. that is 140,000. Let's put that aside. Then the moment we decide to refinance, another money gets to you. So now let's go. So when you reinvest the 8,000, that becomes 40,000 added back to your 100,000. 8,000 times 5 years, that is 40,000. That should have been accumulated for you from your investment. Rather than you taking it home and spending it, you have it somewhere reinvested into the deal. Now, the property value, definitely, the idea of multifamily is for us to boost up, value add, boost up the value of that property over a period of time. Now, it's possible that between year 1 to year 5, we've been able to boost up the property value by 28%. That is relatively about 5% in next 5 years, or some years might even be more. So approximately we did a property value, we're able to increase the value of that property to about 28% from year 1 to 5. So now when we are refinancing this deal, let's say come 5 years after, we're able to refinance, we pull out some money and we gave you 60,000 tax free. This is what that looks like. Now it becomes 200,000 working for you. That is your original investment plus your reinvested cash flow plus refinance. So your original investment was 100,000 and now you are adding back 60,000 and you've gotten from your cash flow 40,000. I know some of you, the question now you'll be asking is, but you guys have given me some of my monies back and all that. But when you are refinancing, the idea is, like I said, 0 to 100%. It's possible that you are not able to pull out the entire money that you originally invested. I really don't want to confuse you guys, but when we are doing refinancing, the idea is for us to return back the first amount you invested in that deal. Then there's also a possibility that there is a remainder. So let's say we called you, everybody invested, and we all invested $4 million. But during our refinancing, because we've been able to appreciate, or the property has appreciated so much, we pulled out 6 million. What that means is that we're able to return, let's say, 100% back of your original investment, and we're also maybe able to give you back some part as profit as well. You can decide to reinvest your profit back into the deal, and instead of you having 100,000, getting your returns in form of 100,000, it now becomes 200,000 on this deal. So let me show you what happens between year 6 to year 10. This is where the magic happens, because all the entire 1 to 5 year, you were not taking your money, you were putting it back into the deal. So from year 6, let's say it's still 8%. Definitely that was what they told you from the beginning. It means that 8% on 200,000 is different from 8% on 100,000. That means for a good reason, you've been able to double the kind of cash flow you should have been getting on the deal. Before now, you were getting 8,000. Now you're getting 16,000 as cash flow. Now you're going to still repeat the same thing. If you do the same strategy I just spoke about from year 1 to year 5, and you repeat that from year 6 to year 10, what your 100,000 will yield in the next 10 years will be 430,000. 430,000 total value, and it should have given you about 34,000 per year in cash flow. And that is just from a single 100,000 that you pulled out from your equity. Now, the key point here is 100,000 should have been able to give you about 430,000 in 10 years without adding any new personal money. The only difference why you're able to achieve this is due to time, reinvestment, and leverage. That is why this is happening. The time is you gave that 100,000 10 years to grow. Reinvestment, instead of you taking that money and spending it, you put back the money into the deal. And leverage, we were able to get a large chunk of it from refinancing that we did halfway down the 10 years, like in the 50 or whatever year that is. You're able to get some big chunk of money and you reinvested it. That is the power of compounding formula in multifamily. And let me show you the chart before I ask you to bring it down. So this is how it looks like. It looks like from the first 0 to 4 years, it's kind of slow. The growth looks very, very minimal if you look at this chart. But there's a change, there's a switch from year 5 to year 10. You can see the growth from year 5 to year 10 is significant. So the idea is compounding interest. The only way in multifamily you can get compounding, or you can achieve compounding effect, is reinvesting or repurposing your cash flow by reinvesting it into a deal, and also your equity. If you get your equity, you can also choose to reinvest. For the first time on one of our deals, I saw one of our limited partners saying that she doesn't need the money, she wants to be reinvesting it on a deal. And the effect of that is going to be very significant if she continues, because that deal, our first hold is 3 years. That means we intend to refinance in 3 years. That is, we expect that in 3 years, between 30 to 100% of whatever that lady has invested will be given back to her. If at that point she decides, I still don't need the money, I want to put it back, she puts it back again into the deal. That will also boost that deal for her. Right now, we intend to hold the deal for 7 years. Let's say we intend to hold the deal maybe for 7 to 10 years, whatever that time is. If she continues at that pace without considering or bringing out any other cash from her pocket, she can significantly increase the value of 100,000 from 100,000 to about 457,000. So that is about a 357,000 that has grown just by using 100,000. So now imagine that you have a replicate, you've invested in LP, like a PhD in LP, and you have multiple kinds of investment like this, and you decide to apply this strategy to it. That is wealth. You've been able to build. Let's say you decide to do this with just 500,000 and you spread your 500,000 among maybe 5 deals or 10 deals. You can decide, okay, I want to invest 100,000 in 5 deals with your 500,000, or 50,000 in 10 deals. You can decide to do that.